My goal was 42,000 back.
Star Citizen isn't being predatory. It's like Star Citizen is like, okay, they're very clear about the fact that yes, we are charging insane amounts of money for some of these rewards and everything, but these rewards and everything that you're getting, that's the rewards aren't the point of the ship. The ships are not the point of giving the money. The backing of the game and everything is to fund the development of the game to an absurd level that is like, yeah, we want high quality. We want a literally no compromises game.
The only things that I don't have are smaller ships that already do the things that my bigger ships do. So it's like if I already own a bigger ship that does what the smaller ship does, like I didn't bother with the Prospector and myself because I already have the Orion. I've got over 150 ships. The more realistic the gameplay is to physical reality, the better for me. I was complaining about the unrealistic mechanics on Star Trek Online. One of my friends went and pointed me as like, "Hey, well, if you want realistic flight and stuff like this, so this one's under development. Go check it out." And so I checked out Star Citizen, and it wasn't really my style aesthetic. Because all I saw was really the Super Hornet and back in like the 2012 demo and whatnot, and it was like, but I was really impressed with the graphics and how it looked like the ships were flying and stuff like that. And it's like I had my eye on it, and then it got to a certain point where it was like, to give you an idea, my backer number is under 300K. Well, basically the whole no compromises thing. When I saw ships and everything that were capable of acting in space how they should actually act. Actually, I was convinced before you could even fly anything. I backed right as the hangar module first came out. You could walk around your ships and that was it. I was 27 when I got shot and put in a wheelchair. I was working as a security officer during the time. It was an armed robbery attempt, and they never caught the guy because, interestingly enough, every single video camera there was a dummy camera. The thing is like I just passed my firearms qualification test. The very next day, I would have that day's paycheck would have finally given me enough money saved up to get my vest. And had that happened even 2 days later, I wouldn't have been paralyzed. March 3rd, 2005. I was working for a security company, and I was the post commander at a car dealership. Post commander basically means I was the one in charge of making sure other people were trained there on time, had their equipment, and stuff like that. And I was there a bit before shift, and a guy comes up with a gun and demands the security radios. I moved to basically open up the sliding glass door that was behind me. Apparently he didn't like how it was moving, he pulled the trigger. Look on his face and everything gives me the indication that he might not have actually intended to fire. Might have been an accidental pull. But I'll give him props on his aim because the bullet came in through my front, through my liver, destroyed 2 inches of my vena cava, and lodged inside my spinal cord. And so yeah, that was a work injury. Took 8 years to finally win my case. The insurance company was trying to deny the injury ever happened or anything like that for that long, and I'm like rolling in a wheelchair, and I'm like, really? I'm quite obviously paralyzed here. So they settled outside of court, and for it's a not insignificant sum of money and a guaranteed income for the rest of my life. I'm in Imperium, and I'm one of their specialists in fleet ops. So basically, I'm one of the ones that because I'm a capital ship owner and stuff like that, I'm more geared to understand the kind of responsibility of handing out organization ships to our organization members for missions and stuff like that. But in addition, we're over 5,000 core members. And so we've got plenty of players to be crewing ships with and stuff like that. In addition, I also have, because of my own little thing with giving out almost $8,000 worth of starter packages, I have no small number of individuals just waiting to be able to help crew my ships. If you own a Javelin and you don't know that that's a multi-crew ship, you haven't been paying attention, but you are going to need a lot of people to be able to properly crew that thing. Keep in mind that each turret is a person needed. Each of the main guns is another person needed. Your navigation, your shields, those are all more and more people. Just to minimum crew a javelin, you're going to need like at least 12 people, I think, and you're going to be better off with 28. And that's not even accounting for the idea that you might get ported. The reason I own so many capital ships is because I intend to rent half of them out to fund the operational costs of the other half. My total giveaway outside of pledges and stuff like that is right around $8,000. Usually when streamers and stuff like that on Twitch are doing Star Citizen and they do like mainly Star Citizen. Yeah, so WTF Asaurus, I've given away ships on his channel multiple times, made donations to his channel specifically. Hydra Big Bang, before he stopped streaming a couple of years ago, I was helping him out. Other individuals that and as in a couple of cases, it's actually been like $1,000 donations to their stream. It is, especially when it comes to video games. I have a hard time not 100%ing a video game. It was one of the reasons why I went straight for the completionist package. We're supposed to actually have a unique name for our ships, or if it's not a unique name, at least be able to have like the ship has its own name that pops up on for your transponder and stuff like that when you when other people are scanning you and stuff like that. Like one of my javelins, I plan on naming the UEES Kitsune. Basically, it's like that's basically what they said about nearly every single innovation ever made by humanity. Everything that we have today, somebody somewhere along the line said we'll never get there. CIG will not only wind up getting there. I think that once they get to the point of where they start refining it and everything like that, that it's going to probably wind up redefining some of the industry. Probably some stuff that's covered under NDA right now. I would have to say probably the most fun that I had, honestly, was talking with the devs over at their office and everything, getting to fly things before anybody else did, getting some inside knowledge about what was going on. The most fun that I've had was basically hanging out with, talking to, and being able to give direct feedback, some of which has actually made it into the game, to them. What's available right now? The most fun is when you manage to get enough ships together for larger scale combats. The exploration is cool. The running around and saving individuals, that's kind of neat, but it's the most fun is when you're coordinating stuff, working with other people, and actually accomplishing something. Going and taking down an Idris or taking down a javelin, especially when they started fighting back. Mm-hmm. It's like that was amazing. It's like, and seeing people get popped, like no damage at all, from no damage to instantly vaporized. It really puts that into perspective for you. And it's like kaboom, poof. Yeah, I'm gone. Depending upon your particular viewpoint, I can't necessarily say that you're wrong. Was it my motivation? No. Getting that level of access was not the motivation for giving them the money. Mm-hmm. The motivation for giving them the money is I finally see a game that is basically willing to go the no compromises route and doesn't have a publishing studio over their back pushing this microtransaction monetization scheme. It's a pay-to-own game, and they want to make it absolutely amazing. And that, to me, is worth it. Mm-hmm. Just the experience of being able to see the game developed, see it, be able to have, even if it's small, some influence on, hey, I don't think, like, the community doesn't think this is a good idea. I don't think this is a good idea. It's like, and for me, it's like, it's not just this isn't a good idea, but for me, and this is one of the reasons why when I was there, Chris actually listened to me, like sat down with me for a while, talking to me about the game, what I think should be done and whatnot. And now, did all my ideas and everything get listened to and whatnot and implemented into the game right then and there? Oh, of course not. I'm one guy. And you're talking about this is his pet project, not mine. But he was willing to listen, even though this wasn't the motivation. This was an emergent property of giving them that much money, in that they listened to me. One of my pet peeves, and this was an example that I gave Chris Roberts personally, when he asked me, it's like, was there anything that I would actually change? And I was like, well, right now you've got 4 little tiny retro thrusters that are shoot out a stream about the size of a pencil, and those are decelerating you faster than your main engines get you up to top speed. It's like, what's up with that? And it's like, and so eventually they wind up changing that. I think they need to make the some of the UI controls for, mining rocks and stuff like that a little bit more intuitive. I'm very much in favor of more realism in the flight rather than the rule of cool. I think they need to hire a morphologist, because an architect reviews their ships and everything is vastly valuable information for them. Because they really do need an architect for their stuff, because especially their origin ships, because there's a lot of wasted space and stuff like that you would never waste if you were actually building a starship. I mean, granted, having large open spaces in a ship, that would absolutely be a status symbol of luxury of, hey, I can afford to upkeep this massive area and keep it oxygenated so it's only servicing a couple of people. I hadn't been blown away by that level of increase in realism on graphics and everything until I saw the Unreal 5 demo. Seeing cinematic level detail on the fly, run real time and everything, I'm like, yeah, if Star Citizen upgrades, I really hope they upgrade to that. I understand why they went with a CryEngine based bit to start with, because they were able to modify it in ways that they needed. It's one of my few major hobbies. Gaming and RC airplanes and helicopters are my tabletop role-playing games are my major non-physical hobbies. I would say, at the very least, go check it out on one of the free fly weekends that wind up popping up every once in a while. If they're an individual that I already know is into space games or simulator or anything like that, then I would absolutely say yes, at least check it out. I know that not every game is for every person. I don't think that there's a game out there that can exist with our current level of technology that would be able to satisfy every single person that wants to play video games. And you're certainly not going to ever wind up with a situation where you have a video game that can satisfy everybody on the planet, because some people don't like video games.